Hello and welcome back to Esoteric Ebb. We don't have any session notes this time, but I'd like you to take a look at the 5 figures in the background here. They are Viskin and presumably his 4 helpers. That's an interesting set of characters for it to show us. So yeah, I think my theory about them being the characters who are in the current area is incorrect, but it might just be groups of characters. So Viskin plus his 4 helpers is a group. Also, it confirmed that these are in fact the 4 helpers, which we weren't previously 100% sure of because he had another one that we killed, but I guess that one didn't count because, like, it wasn't sentient in the same way. Anyway, we're jumping in here. Now, we've done this, which was something, and now there is another building here that we need to go to. We need to go to this building. I don't know where that building goes, but we need to go there. I want to go here. Behold it. Going up. Yeah, take me there. I can't reach that. Yeah, I know, but like I would like to. Okay. I wonder if this place is open. The hatch on the door swings open. Heyo. From the Free Striders next door. I see, I have heard of this. Will be considered. Anything else? I'm here to pick up my book. Yes, it is done now. Now you pay. Nice, how much do I owe you? The process was quite complicated, but I handled it like the pro I am. The final cost is 250 Norvikian crowns. Pay now. You could purchase a basic spellbook for 50. However, if this bird is as proficient as he believes himself to be, it could be worth the cost. I'm gonna make him lower the price through pure charm. Nice. You gotta comb his feathers, you know? Just say, make it 100 and I'll owe you big time. Would it be nice to have a cleric in your debt? True. Okay, pay 100, then you get your book. Nice, that's a big discount. Okay. You toss in all 100 crowns from your pouch of holding and, out of the slot in the book, you see the end of a paper-wrapped book. Phoenix Folio, completed. Take it. And we got our prayer book. You open the wrap, discovering one of the most beautiful and intricately crafted tomes you have ever seen. The inside is filled with arcane runes, the like of which you can use in your work. A masterpiece of a spellbook. Never let this one fall into the river. It feels tingly to your touch. Extremely esoteric. You are happy, I can see it. The yellow eyes tilt to the side as they peer at you from the slot. Now best be on your way. I mentioned my services to your clerical friends. I'm the best, you see. That needs to be known. Will do, General. Anything else before you leave? No? No? Thank you. Okay, so we finished. Wait, 1, 2, 3. There must be this one. Oh no, this is election week. This is a completely different one it's telling us about. But we did finish Phoenix Rites as well. Let's do election week. Oh, actually, before we do, HP per hour, proficiency with masculine, healing is strength instead of wisdom, 1d hit points every time we ask somebody what they're voting in the election. Okay. You have expressed some opinions lately. I have. Now you will listen to the true reason. Or a true reason. You see, what all this has been is an opportunity. Want to share this tumultuous part of yourself with others. So now that part lives out there, it will stay there for some time, collectivizing into the zeitgeist, growing, decaying until it festers into an unimaginable beast of bureaucracy. That, in its nature, is an election, a general election of leadership and governance. It is, of course, a complete farce. Why is it a farce? Because no one seeks answers, only power. The true order was corrupted and betrayed long ago. What's the true order then? During the arcane era, it was men who rose above all else. Wizards with unimaginable power used a perfect system of meritocracy to lift themselves up and build empires. These great men fell when the rules betrayed them, their power stifled, their minds corroded. The Coast War was bloody and sealed the fate of this order. Okay. Well, I really hope we can return to the Great Order. Do not hope for order, you must simply strive towards it each day with a tranquil and open mind. Why do I feel the need to ask strangers about their voting choices all the time? Because of your intellectual curiosity. Keep asking, eventually their weak facade will fall off, the truth being only a disappointing allegory for mortality. The search for agency, for meaning. You know it well. You asked to tell, to share the knowledge. Norvik is for the Earth folk. Humans must come first. This is your city. I'm going to attempt to ask myself, for real this time, well, should I vote in the election? Nat 20? Okay. Ask. Do this, receive an answer. Do not regret your inquiry. But seriously, what should I vote for? Being blunt is healthy. As such, you should listen to the following well. There is no good choice here. None whatsoever. Well, I'll vote for the Nationalists then. The Nationalist Party of Norvik is a stale relic of theocracy and bureaucratic fascism. Ever since their demigod, Earth, died, they have been about as efficient as a dwarf on a bicycle. Their city decaying so much in these decades, they willingly organized an election. It is as if they subconsciously understand their decadence, crafting exactly what they deserve. Like a weak man who smiles as his wife crushes his ego day after day. The Nationalists are oh no, not ruining, I thought it said running for a second. They should just destroy the other parties and reclaim their great past. If Earth returned tomorrow, this would clearly be the outcome. Yet Earth is long dead, along with the legends of the past. And the future is clearly female, or whatever these liberals say. Okay. What about the Arcanist Party? It does not exist. Or rather, it might as well not. You know of Old Man Prax and his gathering of so-called wizards. However, branding a political party around the abhorred ideology of the previous era is not an intelligent idea. Add to that Old Man Prax's imbecilic behavior, and you've got a failed party for idiots. Free Striders? And allow the opportunists of New Dimenor strangle this ancient city even more so? They already own most of it. Giving them de jure power would not change much, I agree. But it doesn't matter how much they promise to keep Norvik independent. If they win, they will surely incorporate it into their Free City agreement. At first, through legal loopholes, then through the guise of increasing wealth, then by simple lack of animosity among the populace. The Free Strider revolution is poison. It is already in your veins. Fuck it, what about the goddamn Ascalists? If a dozen dwarves knocked on your door and asked you to hand over all your wealth with a promise that it would be returned when you really needed it, would you trust them? Over my dead body. You are not the first to say that. Asgal was a simple underground dwarven male, born during the Divine Era. He was a dwarf who came from nothing, but resentment and anger. It is not clear whether or not he was truly a demigod, but in his death he left a ruined empire in his wake, millions starving, a 1,000-year legacy of dwarven history destroyed. He wanted to take the amazing riches gathered by the many dynasties of the Lower Empire and simply hand them out to the population. An idealistic revolution. Some see him as a precursor to the Free Strider movement, but in comparison, miraculously, the Free Striders look somewhat competent. The dwarves beneath Ascani never recovered from Asgal. Today's followers are known as exiles since they are not allowed to even mention his foul name underground. Yet here in our city we allow Asgalists to gather and share their toxic ideal freely. We are lucky they do not have the same kind of backing the Free Striders have. That would be the end of everything you hold dear. So I shouldn't vote Asgalist. No, you should not. So I shouldn't vote at all? That is up to you. It would certainly be cowardly to not make a decision at all, and might even anger many, although being apolitical would certainly allow you to circumvent many disrupting situations. Truly, it is up to you. Though remember, as an it is as intellectually dishonest to take a position of neutrality due to fear of saying the wrong thing as it is to take a position for your own gain. A true genius speaks true, listens, then speaks again. Yeah, I mean, not voting is kind of voting in its own way, right? Like, let's say you've got 3 parties. One is truly awful, right? And then the other 2 are okay, but none of them are great. If you don't vote for anyone, effectively, you're kind of saying like, okay, all 3 of them, whatever, make of it as you will. And it gives the party that you really don't want a chance to advance. Well, if you vote for one of the other 2, you're still not getting what you want, but you're really voting against one specific party. I feel like some people don't get that, where they're like, well, person A is horrible, but person B is much worse. Well, you know, I'm going to vote for nobody because they're all terrible. It's like, it's not a good answer. I mean, even if you voted for a third party, you're showing that you've got, you know, some level of, like, you're making your vote showing, it at least shows up as a number. But if you don't vote for anyone, it's like, well, whatever. Like, why should they put up a candidate that appeals to you? You don't vote. Anyway, whatever. Fine, then I'm ready. You have already made it clear many times, you are a nationalist. Your stomach rumbles, the agrarians are not even represented. This is very upsetting to your gut. Tell me more about nationalist. Humans first, following Earth's legacy. Okay, so this is what buff we would get. Fair enough. Okay, so we'll go through these quickly. So, humans, free trade, prosperity, democracy, in short, good shit. Discount. For your brothers and your sisters, for everyone below you, to flatten this uneven city, to make everything just and good, it is a simple dream, Asgalism. Whenever you take damage, move 1 step forward on a secret 3-step counter. On step 1, a Thesis D20 die is thrown. On step 2, if the damage you took is higher than the Thesis die, an Antithesis D4 die is thrown. On step 3, the damage you took is lowered by either 1 or the Antithesis die if rolled during step 2. This is synthesis somehow. The next time you take damage, return to step 1. What the fuck? It is quite simple. Essentially, you must perform a 3-step process of crafting, meeting, and unity. This is how we grow. Okay. Tell me about the Arcanists. A magiocracy led by you, the greatest wizard of the coast. When you use your last spell slot of any level, you roll a 1d100. If the result is lower than your natural intelligence, you regain that spell slot. Okay. So it's basically 1 in 10 chance of getting a spell slot. Agrarian? The way of the earth. Hungry. Whenever you pick up food, you roll 1d20. If you get 16 or higher, you get an additional food item. Okay, apolitical? Objectively smart. Be whatever you need to be to win. Increase proficiency in rolls by 1. The amount is increased to 10 on any election day. Why does it say on any election day? That's weird. That's very weird that it says any election day. I'm ready to make a decision. I'm a nationalist. Yes, you are. You feel a great deal of knowledge from dealing with this burning question in your heart. Good talk. So how do I deal with this? Do I have to unlearn something? You know what? Let's do a save. And then I think I should be able to do this, right? So do I just unassign and reassign? Which one are we getting rid of? Probably Democratic Herald. We've spoken to most people, right? So it's the easiest to get rid of. Yeah, so I can forego it. Can only add it back after resting. Okay, that's fine. And then I want to choose this feat. Cool. That feels a little bit better. Right, now I've handed out the 3 things I had to hand out, we can go to the warehouse. Which seems like a path forward. Who are you? Who are you? Ambassador Ivix Leuven. I actually know quite a lot. Celestial. The light blinds you. Even among Celestials, this creature is powerful. It seems out of place. Why would an ambassador of the Golden Horde be here? Why would this creature of such great and brilliant bright force even be here? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, I mean, I got distracted. Alright. Entering the AR trading company greets you with a blinding sight. A celestial being wrought in radiant light. Ah, Cleric, arriving exactly when I need you. This is the ambassador of the Golden Horde. The light reaches out to you as a voice forms in your mind. Do not fear the light. Ours does not disalign. You are safe. Your stomach yells. Do the proper greeting, title, bow your head. Ambassador. Cleric. The light flutters. Snell stands behind you, clearly uncomfortable. Careful, Cleric. Beside the light stands a woman draped in red. The light reaches towards her. She bows her head to it. Yes, Ambassador. She begins to leave for the door, but on the way she throws you a stern glance. Watch yourself, Cleric, for the light watches you. Once the Ambassador's servant leaves, Vera lifts her chin, squinting. So we've been talking about some new projects on Waterlane. I mentioned how you helped getting the AFAs out to local entrepreneurs. Are they... We know who you are, Ragan and Snell. The voice interrupts Vera, who immediately goes silent. The goblin jolts at the mention of his name in his mind. He dares not look at the light. Of course you do, I'm a big deal. Agent Vera snickers to herself. The Ambassador's light then turns to your companion. A goblin in the service of the Dragon of Tolstad. You tread a clean path. You led the front during the Ice Bay Point operation. Ice Bay Point, the eastern point of the Palace District, the third largest port in Norvik. You stabilized the HWBT City Below expansion project on your first year in service. A goblin going against the grain to get results. You have been noticed. Snell? Snell attempts to glare at the light. He is sweating. Stand up to the light, goblin. Do not falter. Thanks for noticing. The light grows closer to you. You are special, Ragan. An exception. The Horde places attention on exceptions. That is what we do. I'm special. You are the only registered cleric in the city who is not listed in the party of Norvik. That's just because they didn't like you. A bureaucratic mess. You have a history of political violence. You have innate talent for the esoteric arts. You didn't even throw any rocks. Plus, that was years ago. Why is the Celestial bringing this up? You have shown support of Reedsian ideologues in public writing multiple times. Have I? That was a mistake, a stumble into the dark side of politics. You were paid for it dearly. Yeah, they only keep you around because you're still useful. Otherwise, with all this bullshit hanging about, you'd be gone a long time ago. You are an anomaly, Ragan. What you have done here with Agent Vera shows more proof of that. Why are you paying any attention? Well, I'm not going to ask him why he's paying attention to me. It's because I'm special. Let's say thank you. The Golden Horde wishes to extend a bond of service to you. You and Snell. A bond, he mutters behind you. Your bond is to the city, nothing else. A bond? A bond. The Golden Horde offers many opportunities for outside contractors. Addressed through the Ascani Reeds Trading Company, who would be very interested in building this potential relationship. This means, for you, well-paid positions of power, political ambitions, monetary security. In return, this means monthly communications with agents, occasional alternate goals as ordained by us, and eventually joining the Golden Horde's outreach program. Safety under the wing of the Horde. Until you're no longer useful. This would be signing your soul away to a foreign power. If calculated, it could prove useful, but in the long term it seems foolish. You cannot read the Celestial. It is truly alien to you. They are a trading company, would of course cooperate on such a deal if you were interested, Cleric. We have deep ties with the Golden Horde, as you can imagine. Is this offer something you would be interested in, Ragan? No, never. Nothing about this has to happen right away. His response has been recorded. That is what we needed. We shall leave this for now. And while we are here, the offer is also extended to Snell. Do you hold any interest in this deal? I can consider it. Your consideration has been recorded. Snell? He shrugs. Thank you. Now to move on. Several I'm trying to think of how to say that. Several AEFAs have been signed on Tolstad. That is good work, Agent Vera. Oh, like I mentioned, the Cleric's effort was integral to the success. We will continue in the upcoming days post-election. That is satisfactory. Not so many were positive about this AEFA business. They'll come around. They always do. As to the content of these contracts, I've been informed of some changes. Changes? Her stance changes. Uh-oh. What changes? Currently, the Accord has a big incentive for Reedsian investors. We wish to expand that to include those of the Golden Horde. I believe we spoke about this at the... This AEFA also includes several loopholes and problematic elements that could interfere with the Golden Horde's current and future blockades. The Clanlands. Yes, among others. If local businesses are able to trade freely via land as well as sea to regions and states the Golden Horde deems sanctioned, in both more serious cases as the Clanland conflict, as well as lesser situations of targeted tariffs, then we cannot move forward. This issue has been brought forth already with your owners. Expect several errata in the near future. It would have been good to see these comments before the election, as discussed. I apologize for the tardiness, but I assure you this issue is entirely the fault of the Ascani Reeds Trading Company. Ha! This guy just said, I'm sorry, but everything is actually your fault to her face. These Celestials are hilarious. You... The rage. She clenches her jaw as she stares at him. Agent Vera, this is above you. Above her rank. In the clouds with the angels. She clears her throat and straightens her outfit. Of course. Of course, Ambassador. Thank you for the heads up. Her entire being is restrained rage. The light turns back to you. The Golden Horde is very interested in seeing economic prosperity in your city, Ragan, so they can use us as slave labor. Agent Vera nods, looking like she's going to explode. The first step towards that is handling the Clanlands. For far too long, Norvik has ignored its halfling war criminal populace. I ask you, Ragan, as cleric of the city, do you believe the humans will choose prosperity over the propaganda of the Clanlands? Vera says nothing but throws you a glance. Her anger now fades, replaced by another expression. I'm not sure what it means, but it is a strained expression. Who are the halflings to us? Neighbours, not too close. Just another folk type. Unlike dwarves, they have no close bonds with the earth folk. Oh gods, what should I say? Careful now. If you kiss his ass, he'll know you're an asset. If you go all halfling lovey-dovey, he'll know you'll never be one. But considering the weird tension here, that might not be a bad thing. If you antagonize him, you might be able to push back. Which, if you do it correctly, might net you some points with Agent Vera. Well, I'm going to stand by the Clanlands. They are our closest neighbours. The Earthfolk will always stand by the Clanlands. For now. Ominous. The light pierces you. The golden line is set. Halflings have shown themselves unable to accept this fact. We set the line to protect them, to create a lasting peace. Since they refuse to comply with our reasonable demands, I hope you understand, our most peaceful method of handling their terrorism is through sanctions. The light turns back to Vera. Agent Vera, you have been a valuable asset for many years, yet I sense frustration in you. That is not acceptable. She glares at the light. You will make certain the Ascani Reeds Trading Company fully complies with the AEFA erratum. It is a matter of Golden Horde security. It is not negotiable. It will be your highest priority as of now. Vera looks defeated. The orc is beaten. This is tense. Horrific. The Celestial wields enormous power in those words of his. Both the Free Striders and this monster can go fall through every hell in the book. He's so precise in his words, you have no chance here. Okay, I can try and catch him in a contradiction. Stand up, kiss his ass, stand neutral. Don't side with either. Let's catch the ambassador in a contradiction. 3, 2, 1. Roll. A terrible roll. Almost, but terrible. The Golden Line, the Horde and its invasion. You know he's bullshitting you on some level, but about what? I'm gonna stare at his light. No. No way you'll get it in time. You've been staring at him for like 3 seconds at this point. You gotta say something, anything. What should I say? Just be nice, calm, normal. That should solve it in a somewhat peaceful manner. No. You should tell him that, you should tell them both to leave you alone. If you want to be smart, then just stay neutral. Lashing out will only cause people to hate you now. Don't want that. Oh. I can break my ties with the Free Striders. I really want to get in the warehouse. Well, fuck the Free Striders. Fuck the Golden Horde. I despise you both. The light intensifies. Cleric. You speak from the heart. Fascinating. We will, however, not be interested in working with you going forward. Agent Vera, I question your judgment here as well. I assume you understand this. Yes, Ambassador. She grunts, her jaw clenched and eyes locked at you. Fire and brimstone. I apologize for this. The Ambassador begins to float towards the door. I will leave you now. Thank you for your time. The radiant light being opens the door via some kind of telekinesis and floats out onto the streets of Waterlane. Vera stands up, walking over to the fireplace, leaning against the brickwork. Gods. I thought you would have a bit more tact. You were mistaken. Obviously. She slams her clenched fist into the wall. Not hard enough to cause any self-harm, but hard enough to make a sound. Please leave, Cleric. Now. Maybe I should. I actually want to speak with you if I can. Oh, yeah, can I speak with you? Like, well, before I do actually, I guess I should look at my questing tree, because I think I just finished a quest. Capital Domination I just finished. Whoa, let me go out and back in. Yes, I finished this one. Let's do this. Take root. And so here we are, at the end of a long line of divine tyrants and feudal lords. Feels like being at the end of history itself, taking a dive off into the chasm of hope. That's liberalism, baby. I'm not a fan. Yeah, say that as much as you want. You're still living in a Free Strider world. Not that your thoughts have any real impact on the city. Unless you get back to writing, of course. Writing? Why would I ever perform such a degenerate act? Look, you got some bruises on your fingers from last time, but really it's just the proof that you were on the right trail. Free Striderism is the future. That much is clear. Well, you saw what happened in that fancy room between Vera and our glowing guest. That's going to be the main conflict going forward, not some scuffle with Asgol youth students or the rigid theocratic bureaucrats grasping to hold onto their mansions. No, the future obstacles are out there. As Free Striderism creeps along the coast, there will be a lot of powers ready to meet it, both head-on and also in more sinister ways. As shown by the Golden Horde, they're clearly trying to co-opt the whole thing. Well, the Golden Horde is a scourge upon the coast. They should not be affiliated with Free Striderism at all. We all need to make concessions. Vera's doing the best she can, or like the Ambassador. I guess I'm going to say 2. I don't really like any of these. Look, in an ideal world, yeah, that'd be swell. Reeds is in a precarious position, believe it or not. It'll be all too easy for the liberal, wondrous dream to collapse in on itself. With enemies on all sides and within and without, you need to band together with your fellow freestriders and fight back. Or if that doesn't work, grab what you can while the gabbing's good, then jump out the window in a blaze of glory. That does sound like it could collapse at any second. And somehow, over these past 50-something years of crazy radical freestriderism, that just hasn't happened. You remember how freestriderism was born, right? Let's go over it again. It all goes back to the Arcanists, as everything tends to. Most of their states were essentially built upon aristocratic structures. Feudal states turned magocratic. Wizards need esoteric educations, right? Who can afford such an education? A nobleman, that's who. It's all economics all the way to the top. Well, I see. You sure do. So they spent the early Arcane era building up their power. House Prax, House Hagenshag's, House Diminori, all led by men descending from long lines of royals. We've even got a theocracy, with the Shadow Lord turning into another magocracy in the end. With all that magical might, despite reaching the pinnacle of esoteric knowledge towards the 2nd century of their era, they weren't shit before the industrialists. Oh? Don't get me wrong, magic is real neat, cutting mountains in half, flipping them over, building cities on them, awesome. Infinite food, convenient. But you can only get so far with a top-down structure. Elaborate. Imagine you got 20 people working under you. You assign them tasks to, I don't know, transport your magically created bread to 1,000 hungry mouths around the city. You alone could probably organise that. 20 people ain't much. But what if it wasn't 20 people feeding 1,000 people? What if it's 5,000 people making sure 100,000 people got fed their daily piece of fake bread? I'd still be able to do that. Yeah, practice somebody outside your own damn head. The point is, even the smartest, most glorious, super genius wizard god king will eventually get spread thin. With the crazy scale of modern society, and especially with infinite food, that you can bet your ass that people start breeding like giant rabbits, and the Arcanists just couldn't keep up. Divine era kingdoms never reached those levels, even with walking gods at the helms, so the Arcanists did what they had to. They embraced the Industrial Revolution. The old aristocrats held most of the power, but they got dragged kicking and screaming into a world where anyone could become a wizard. More importantly, these nobodies could also become stinking rich. That's how you get the necropolis manufactories, the ocean trade network, basically the entire built-in-a-factory way of life we enjoy today. Did the Industrial Revolution begin in Old Diminor? Nah, technically there's been mechanical industries on Jor since the Gate War. That's how the orcs managed to join in against the eldritch aberrations and divine beings. But our modern revolution started when the same orcs rediscovered their roots. Blood City Bay used to be a scattered collection of streets, but in the Divine Era the warlords turned it into the thing we know today, which includes a shit ton of industry. But wouldn't that just lead to a magiocracy led by those with money? Sure, but as long as money flows towards the merit, you're gonna have fair game going. Infinite food sounds lovely, we should go back to that. You think that, but here's the deal. The second we entered into somewhat modernized agriculture, food scarcity stopped being a production issue. It became and remains entirely an issue of logistics. We got so much damn food being made, and the only problem is getting it into the mouths of the people. Magical food then becomes like rotten waterfall. If the bread is free, then people growing the wheat can't get paid as much. Thus, eventually they'll stop growing it. Who gets most impacted when food production disappears from an economy? The working class. On top of that, if food supply becomes entirely centralized within spellcasters, then the food production gets inverted from the natural method. Instead of food being created rurally and moved into urban areas, instead food has to be moved from cities to smaller communities. And once again, you also get the problem of top-down governing. By centralizing food production into a handful of extremely powerful wizards, or maybe a few thousand at the peak of certain city-states, and even the most minor mistake can cause widespread famines. Which is why every single city-state that attempted this free food method failed. And any that try it in the future will fail too. Large enough systems require decentralization and economic liberalization to even function, at least in the long term. Liberalization is thus inevitable in a modern world. Even the most illiberal states today use parts of the three-sided theorem to rule. Even esoteric autocracies like Golden Horde or oligarchies like Blood City Bay. You'll bet their ass that they're all hopping on the free trade wagon, even if they're desperate to hold on to their outdated regimes. Makes sense so far? Go on. Right, the birth of freestriderism. So, early Arcane era. This was a period when national borders didn't really exist yet. It was more of a pseudo-feudal thing going on. Royalty owning lands and serfs on it. Not so much folk belonging to nation states as we see today. But those early magocrats still wanted centralized control, so they pushed to drive everyone into their cities. In that century of industrialization, literally millions of humans moved from scattered rural towns into one of the capitals of Old Diminor. Hell, they even had humans from all around the coast moving. We're talking entire civilizations uprooted just to go live in the modern world of the Arcanists. To work in factories, to have cheap glowstones and running water, to live in peace, yes, but also to have personal freedoms. People could move between city-states for the most part. A man could rise above his station and make something out of himself, even if the top gigs were all held by those in power. There's a reason we don't call it magical feudalism or whatever, that most Arcanist states actually had a fair bit of liberalism growing. Even today, we still live and die by the city-state format the Arcanist set in stone. But then, it all went to shit. Obviously, this is an abridged version, but when the Coast War broke out at the end of the 300s, skip forward a few decades, suddenly you have to have documentation wherever you go. Citizenship became a curse or a blessing, depending on which one you had and when. Like most people just think about the Coast War as this huge apocalyptic event where 90% of humans died, but that didn't really happen until the real fighting in the 470s. It was 6 decades of paranoia, escalating tensions, local conflicts, proxy wars, and magio-industrial madness. The market didn't go to war, the invisible hand of the market would have preferred to live in peace. Okay. Slowly at first, and then quickly, the Arcanists stopped everyone from moving about. The cities that focus on necromancy even ran out of bodies to animate. Could you imagine? The entire system that let these fucking Arcanists sit on the thrones, and the hard-working capitalists that helped them build it, all of it gone. Some people say it was weakening magic that threw down these idiots. Ask the people who saw it in reads, the ones who survived, and they'll tell you. The Arcanists lost because they assumed that they alone were responsible for the greatness of old Diminor, when in reality it was all capitalism, baby. And that's how freestriderism was born. Yeah, in 481 AE, you got the fall of Thazan as the final nail in the almost figurative coffin. Within a year, the ruins were covered in gold, yellow flags. Those heroic and oppressed industrialists had rallied the people to fight for universal suffrage. The rest is living history. They exchanged one set of corrupt leaders for another. Comparing capitalists to Arcanists is like comparing a hot stove to a fireball. One can be mishandled, sure, the other one will leave you with third-degree burns all over your body. It's like not even comparable, so just cook a nice meal and shut up. The point is, the invisible hand of the market is guiding us, and it'll keep guiding us towards a world that's a hell of a lot more liberal and a hell of a lot more prosperous, just as long as you avoid falling into some of the Ascalist propaganda hole again. This tale you have heard so many times, a modern myth as the old keep being stripped away. Freestriderism, an unstoppable force charging across the coast. You must arm yourself before the storm, quickly, before you are crushed between the waves. Look, let's be real here. There are 100 different ideologies with 1,000 different interpretations and branches. Out of all of them, Reetsian freestriderism is probably the most powerful at the moment. You shouldn't throw all your eggs in the proverbial bag of holding, but it certainly wouldn't hurt to move a bit closer underneath that yellow banner. So you've got all these forces pushing you into all kinds of directions. Maybe try being a bit of an immovable object, one that's sitting squarely in the good graces of your new Reetsian overlords. Seriously, if even the apolitical boogeyman can agree to lean freestriderism, you really can't go wrong, can you? Unstoppable force? Bear arms, fight against the forces of this world until the end of time itself. Alters ability score modifiers on weapons. Positives get +1, negatives get -1. Intriguing. Invisible hand? Everything is yours. You just got to go out, reach out and grab. Advantage on trifle checks. Okay, immovable object. A convenient cooperation with no real downsides to it. Let those freestrider impulses guide your purchasing decisions. Add your dex modifier? No. Don't care. It would be a negative anyway. I'll take unstoppable force. Oh, I have to say let's pick one of these. Yeah, you do that. Unstoppable force. Remember to think like capitalists, which means choose whatever works best for you. Stand tall against the eastern torrent. You will need it. Okay. Well, that was a lot. Okay, so I think I'm gonna obviously take it. I'm gonna take it instead of Asgulin Spirit. Yeah, we'll lose the hit point every hour. We will grab this. There we go. Now, that does change our equipment. So this is now a +2 con, and this is now a +2 strength and a +2 intelligence. That's actually incredible. Yeah, actually, that's just good. I thought we still had this on, which would be -2 wisdom now, but yeah. Let's go to weapons. It might have changed our it might have changed our stuff a little bit. Yeah, I mean, we could get more wisdom, we could get more intelligence, but, like, honestly, like, I think we got the best two on anyway. It's just made what we have better. It hasn't actually given us an extra bonus on either of them, or on any of the three, but it's got us closer. It puts us one wisdom up, though. Now, one wisdom up is interesting. Also, I didn't read my book. I need to look... Oh, wait, did I? No, I didn't read my book, but that's okay. A tool of the Arcane Cleric, an instrument of the state used to handle rogue spellcasters. The cover indicates the type of spellbook with hymns dedicated to the river goddess Torna. Such a contradictory artifact. It's been wonderfully rebound in some incredible craftsmanship. While equipped, it allows you to prepare additional spells. Oh. I mean, that's cool, but that's not what we're going for. I'm just seeing what else we have here. -2 strength, -1 intelligence. I don't need those, although I do have 3 of the rats. I know where another one is as well. I just want to see everything at once. I don't want to see, like... Yeah, I guess I'm going to go back to... Is it just trinkets? Or are these things I can... I think it is trinkets, yeah. So I could now take away, like, something like this. And it would then only go down 1 intelligence level. Or I could get rid of this and it would only go down 1 intelligence level. Which is definitely interesting to do. Yeah. I mean, the advantage against elves is interesting, but we don't see that many elves. But, I mean, it is a charisma bonus, which is nice. Yeah, I think I'm going to replace our watch with this for now. We can almost put it on if we see something esoteric coming up, but that gives us an extra strength roll. I already know everything about her. Wonderful. And she is neutral evil. Right. Hello. Cleric, I'm working late today, as you can see. Can I? Nothing to see? Well, good day. You're not getting back from this. I want to go to the warehouse. I did the job. But then I broke my ties. Maybe it's nothing to see? Well, good day. Well, that is annoying. Okay. Can I get through the griffin? Suppose I should try. You know, it's worth seeing what my options are again. Wake the animal. You smell like slog dogs, which gets us a -6. That makes it a lot better, actually. It's not great, okay? But it is a lot better. Like, it's significantly better. -4. So we're talking a 15. I need a 15 on this roll. Okay. Do it. That's close. How does one do this? You try to see it from the beast's perspective. How would you like to be awoken if you had to be awoken from your lovely slumber? If you had to be awoken from your lovely slumber by a helmed, handsome stranger? You had to be awoken from your lovely slumber by a helmed, handsome stranger in a day such as this. I lost my train of thought. What am I doing? The question is, by which method would you like to be awoken? I don't know, a hug? Okay then, try that. Come here, birdie. What? Light tap. God damn it. You hear your cleric yell and rushing down to the street. Pain. Bones in your body cracking. Hard ground merging with your flesh. But you live. Almost got it. Gods be damned, what were you thinking? You hear Snell yell at you as he comes running down the street. The goblin eventually makes it down to gasping for air. It's good you're alive, but seriously, isn't there a saying about not waking a sleeping griffin? Don't do that again. We were told that we almost had it. And I believe. And belief is all you need. Let's do it. Make it easier. Got slapped actually makes it harder. I will attempt to pet the beast. It disappeared. You go in and... a light tap. Pain. Okay. I think I deserve that one. Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to heal. That's actually a pretty bad heal for us, I think. But anyway. Yeah, you see all these little gnome things that keep appearing? I don't really know what those are. Attempt to sneak past it? Sorry, what are you doing? Nah, I regret that. Let's not do that. So I guess waking it gently is the only way that you can do it. So I have no way into that warehouse right now. Alright, well, let's go this way. In our exploratory ways. We haven't really been to Water Lane here. We haven't been to this bit very often. And there's not really anything in it. We haven't been here very often. Sign says dormitory out of commission. What about this one? Marking on the door says Simi, son of Strokeback. Path is closed. Okay then. How about this one? Rough carving says R and A. I have no reason to be interested in that particular door. Okay then. How about this one? Slip mailbox says Snelt. Or Snell, sorry. HWBT. Hello, Snell. It's a bit high up. Can't reach that from here. But if I had Mage Hand, I could. Thank you. For this. Mass-produced glowstone lantern. Ooh. Ah. Bagatelle. The goblin has some good taste then. One of Snell's boxes. Elysium ointment? Why does it need ointment? What was this? 10 HP. Oh, okay. Seems actually pretty good. Spend some material. Snell's work. You stand before a wooden board covered in sketches of various people, each of them connected via long red threads. What's this, Snell? He looks over to you from across the apartment. Yeah, Project Visualizer. Helps me keep track of jobs, you can check it out if you want. Haven't done much on basic outline on the tea shop yet. I've been busy with all this running around. This looks like a ton of work. It's not really. Haven't had that much downtime yet. Once we're finished, I'll make sure to compile it into a proper report for the old lady. I'll look at the sketches. You see several faces you recognize and some you don't. A birdman with a black and white pattern along with the note, tea shop owner. A bulbous merman with the text, rival? No, unambitious. A stout-looking dwarf in a uniform with a hammer symbol in the corner. Patron? A stylish orc with Freestrider heart symbol in the corner. Completely unaffiliated, suspicious. Pale man holding a skull. No motive. A human with a fancy beard and a fish symbol in the corner. Suppressing info, beware. Then finally, you look over at the central piece, the beautiful rendition of Lady Sageleaf herself. His devotion is clear in this art piece. Her note reads, enemies, spies, city conspiracy? Alright. You stand before a simple bed frame. Look at the mattress. The mattress is extra thick. This material goes for extra in every outlet. However, the claim that these contain Im silk is ridiculous. Anything over a tiny fraction would make the bed half invisible. Can I take a nap, Snell? What? No, he yells from across the apartment. Do not even think about getting into my bed. You can join too. It's definitely worse. I need to get better at persuasion. I really hope you don't, considering your average proposal. Thanks, bed. There's more things down here as well. Oh, what's this? You do not need to relieve yourself. You sure? A glowstone lantern. A glowstone lantern. A glowstone lantern. A glowstone lantern. What's wrong with it? The glowstone inside must be manufacturing. A common issue with these cheaply post-war era produced lanterns. Hey Snell, you need help fixing this thing? That's okay, Cleric. The goblin does not know what's best for him. I will fix it for him. Perfect. You look over the lantern, checking the insides. Beyond the thin, cheap glass lies a green glowstone, a shard type. Touch it. As you do, it burns your hand. Ouch. Cleric? I think it's been acting up for weeks. Let it be. I'm going to throw it out soon. I'll try it again. I failed. Oh, no, I passed. Okay, because of Meek. I thought I failed because it was a 6, but Meek lowers everything by 1. You spend a few minutes looking it over, realizing a bit later than you should have that there is an esoteric effect on the lantern itself. Investigating it further reveals the issue, the glowstone's connection with the flimsy metal plate around it. While the heat remains, the stone is quite hot, and its esoteric light was esoterically spread out across the full surface of the lantern, as it focused on the glowstone itself. I'll reattach the glowstone without burning myself. With a quick snap, the light returns to the lantern. Such a simple solution, you should have come up with it quicker. I fixed the lamp, Snell. Ah, thanks. He gives you a thumbs up. The goblin speaks your language. Such gratitude. Now you won't have to trip when going to the bathroom in the middle of the night anymore. It's not really a problem, you know. He points at his eyes. Dark vision. So why'd you have a lamp? It's not perfect dark vision. He stretches a bit. But yeah, the fixed lamp will help. Thanks again, Cleric. I'm so good with tinkering with stuff. You're slightly above average. It says more about the average than it does about you. Alright, nice. Anything? Oh wait, there's more over here, right? Snell's family. And he sure is the type to have a photo of himself on the wall.
Huh?
Welcome to my pad. Go ahead, root around as much as you want. Sarcasm. Oh, so I can have some of your stuff? No, and don't touch anything. He sighs. I'm not sure how this is in any way useful for the job. Well, let me know when you're done looking around. Looking, nothing else. You live here alone? Yep. Doesn't it get lonely? I don't spend much time here. It's a cool place. Thanks. How long have you lived here? He glances at the ceiling. I don't know, 3 years, 4? Thank God, has it been that long? What does it cost? 100 a month. Real cheap. But I got a special deal because of the HWBT gig. You like living here? It's central, right next to the garden. That's about all I really care about, although the ventilation system is pretty sweet during those colder months. That's good info, thank you. He bows and gives you a side glance. What about you? Where do you live, Cleric? Uh-oh. Time to dance around the subject. I could tell him the truth. That would be extremely painful. The truth is freedom, honor, goodness, although perhaps you can make an exception. I should lie, right? Oh yes, it's really the only good choice here. Well, I'm not going to say I live with my mom, then. I live on North Wall in a nice city-sponsored apartment. Oh, cool. Yes, clerics are well taken care of, huh? We sure are, we sure are. Cool, well, anyway. How much is the rent? We've already done that. Wait, how much is the rent? Not so bad, thanks to the old lady. She looks after her own. Not every goblin is so lucky. What do you mean? Actually, you're lucky to be living in Norvik, you mean? He scoffs. Yeah, right. You know there are 3 tribes in the city, right? The halfways get by real well thanks to Lady Sageleaf, but it didn't used to be that way. Most of the goblins have a real hard time getting by here. Most guilds won't exactly hire a goblin just like that. I see they must not. Actually, I'm gonna say 3. I see they must not want goblins due to the goblin nature of them. I mean, you guys. He gives you the stink eye. Really stinky. We're not humans, so by default, on average, we're not trusted. Back in the day, there were apparently a bunch of programs meant to push us into the workforce, anti-discrimination laws, goblin public work projects, but the support for those ran out way before I was born. Most kids just fall into crime. They can't do that. In Norvik, it's illegal to be a criminal. That's arguably one of the dumbest things you've ever said. Clearly, you haven't heard everything I've ever said. That's fortunately true, he sighs. Imagine you're a goblin kid. You spend most of your day in the Warren, that with 20,000 others your age. There's barely any resources to actually teach you all the human stuff we're legally forced to be taught. And if you're lucky, you've got one parent with a stable income. Otherwise, you're living in the dormitories. No support system, no chance to integrate into the city you're supposed to be living in. If you're lucky, you'll get a dangerous gig in the tunnels. If not, the only way for you to get enough money for food beyond the basic handouts is joining a syndicate. They recruit young to keep you in the juvenile stockade if you get caught, starting as an errand boy, ending up as, well, whatever they need for their own enterprises. Then, you bring home a heavy pouch of crowns for your mom and pops. What are they gonna do? Turn the little kid in? Or accept the only major income the household's got in months? Maybe they'll even encourage you, push you to get real friendly with the local runner. When you a runner? Runner and handler, yeah. It's complicated, but The Halfway Bridge tribe is classified as a syndicate. We run things in a similar sense to the Ishki and the NMBT, except we do things strictly by the book. We don't run drugs, for one. Ishki, one of the 3 goblin tribes in Norvik, commonly called the Water Goblins due to their river expertise, led by a council of 3 Nilbogs housed in a lighthouse, though they call it a wizard's tower, in the Vargby. Nilbog, term for a goblin spellcaster, probably started out with negative connotations. We keep one lane free of smuggling, but most importantly, we keep the youth out of it, and we keep the other tribes at an arm's length. Lady Sageleaf is real draconian in that sense. Everyone in our tribe gets a job and a good salary. We try and push in this method or support system onto other tribes, but it's hard. It's not always popular. We're the small annoying cultish tribe of Tolstad after all. He sighs again. So it is what it is. What a rant! Young goblins, young humans. There seems to be no difference when it comes to solution. A purpose and a place. That's all they need. You're working hard for your lady. I sure do. It's a nice apartment. Being nice. Yeah, I'm not here a lot. The goblin laughs. I'd argue it's much better than usual. One time I was on a date, brought her back here. Girl? A terrible idea. The date was already going poorly. Imagine her expression when she steps in here and there's a pile of reports all over the floor, blocked drain in the kitchen sink, and 15 confiscated bowls of pixie dust piled in the corner. Let me tell you, it took her 10 seconds to come up with an excuse. This is one of his favorites. He tells this one to everyone. As his laughter fades, he looks around the place and tells you, anyways, looks better these days. Figured if I'm such a neat goblin like everyone says, I might as well keep my apartment clean too. Girl? Yeah? Back when I was still looking for that sort of thing. You know, getting tied down, so on. In the metaphorical sense. What about you? The question cuts little tiny holes in your inside skull. Clerics are popular, right? He is not allowed to ask you personal things like that. That's so hypocritical given what we do to everybody. I'm going to tactfully change the subject. Nice. He's expecting an answer, so you're going to have to give him one. Not a lie, though. You can't handle that right now. Too much pressure, clearly. So what do I say? Just keep it simple. Dismiss the question in a nice way, like this. Nothing lately. I'm busy with work. Now, change the subject now. You seem like the type to be busy with work too. Oh, yes. For the last few years, I've been focused on the halfways, and whatever the old lady needs of me. Don't mean to sound ungrateful, though. I do love it. It's real rewarding. What kind of reward? Like treasure? Treasure of the soul? Sounds esoteric. The goblin takes a breath. I tell you to look at it from a goblin perspective, but let me put it like this. Lady Sageleaf gave me options in a world of railroad tracks. I get to help my people and get real fucking good at it. For now, I'm gonna keep doing it. Well, better than getting bored. That's for sure. That's certainly not the type of job that ever leaves you bored. He grins. Anyhow, anything else you want to chat about, or can we get going? Cool, thanks for the talk. Alright, more Snell stuff, and it is time for us to end the episode. What have we achieved? Well, we got a lot more new items. We've advanced the Free Strider plotline to a dead end, which I guess is cool. Maybe she'll be cool tomorrow if we go and see her again. We still have Viskin's thing. That's the thing we need to remember, is in 4 hours, we can go and see Viskin anyway and advance something. And I'm presuming his is going to be really meaningful. And we've got other places to go around the city. We've got other things that we haven't gone back to. You know, we got options. This is kind of like there were points like this in Disco Elysium as well, where you kind of just feel a little lost, but what we're doing is advancing multiple different plot lines and hoping that at some point they're gonna start coming together. And, well, maybe they will. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.